Today on the Brickafit channel, we're going to be taking a look at the Ironclads, and this is a Brickmania kit that is a store exclusive to Chantilly, Virginia, the Capitol store. So Dave, what is the Ironclads? What are we looking at here?
We're looking at one of the most epic moments
Definitely.
in the naval history of the world, actually.
A pivotal battle.
Yeah. It was a red letter day in American naval history because this was the day, March 9th, 1862, that ushered in a whole new way of fighting on the seas.
Yes.
The age of the Ironclads, baby!
This was in the Civil War, if that's not clear.
Yes. And the Confederates salvaged the vessel, which at the time was called the Merrimack, and they renamed it the Virginia. Yes. And they, as you can see from the model, they basically cut off the top half of it and they laid iron all over the place. In fact, one contemporary observer called it a floating barn roof. On the other corner, we have the Monitor. Yeah, baby. And it was called, by a contemporary observer, a Yankee cheese box on a raft. And really, you can, as a kid, we used to love making models of the Monitor. We'd take like a tuna fish can and sit it on something flat and have a little gun poked out, and you had the Monitor. And so anyway, it was a startling new design. It was set really low in the water, and it had a revolving turret with a gun on it.
Yes.
All right, so let's kick forward to March 8th, 1862. The Merrimack, under the command of Commodore Franklin Buchanan, starts wreaking havoc, and he takes on a Union fleet and pretty much destroys it. This was off Newport News in Virginia. Later that night, the Monitor comes steaming into action. Lieutenant John Warden at the command, at the helm. And the next day, the two ships square off. There's crowds of people on all the banks.
This was something that happened in the Civil War, is like when you had battles and stuff, these people saw it as entertainment, and so they went to watch these things. We saw this at the first battle of Bull Run, and I think on the way up to a lot of battles where you just had spectators just chilling out there, having a picnic, bringing their kids. Like, can you imagine that? Just going to a battlefield, a war zone, and people were just sitting out there like, oh yeah, this is great fun.
If we had been there around at that time, we would have been there.
No, we wouldn't.
This was big doings. So anyway, everybody's on the shore and on ships, and they're cheering on their favorite. Go Monitor, go Monitor, and the other one's going, go Merrimack. Except they didn't say Merrimack; they went, go Virginia, go Virginia. And so basically, all that happens, the ships kind of like sail this way, and they turn around and they sail. They go back and forth with each other. They're exchanging some gunfire, but it's totally ineffective. At one point, the Virginia nails the pilot house on the Monitor, which is where the turret was, and drove splinters of iron into Lieutenant Warden's eyes. Yikes. And at that point, the Monitor kind of veers off and shears off into shallow water. The Virginia thinks, hey, we've won this thing. We're going to go after this wooden ship, the Minnesota, over here and blow it to smithereens. But they couldn't do it because they were losing power. They were low on ammo. And they couldn't keep up steam, I guess was the same thing as also is leaking. So the Virginia retreats and goes back to Norfolk. The Monitor. So neither side can really claim a victory, but both sides claim a victory. At best, it was a draw, but it was a momentous day for all because,
this was the first battle that
between
had
ironclads. So anyway, 2 months later, the Virginia gets scuttled by its crew when the Union forces take Norfolk, and Virginia couldn't sail out to open sea and it couldn't chug up water, so they just destroyed it. Then 9 months later, the Monitor sinks to the bottom of the ocean off Cape Hatteras in a storm. So there you have it. It really, when I was a kid, this was like a big deal.
Yeah.
And we called it the Monitor, the Merrimack, and it was always taught that the Monitor won. But it didn't. Nobody really won. It was much ado about nothing.
That is actually pretty interesting. Really, it wasn't really a battle. It was just kind of a skirmish. We fired a couple shots.
It was kind
they
of...
fired a couple shots. And,
you show me yours, I'll show you mine kind of thing.
What did he say? Fantastic job. The model
5/80ths scale.
Yes.
It actually is pretty much genius when you think what he was able to pull off.
Yes, I personally think that the model is absolutely beautiful. So we're going to go into the model now. And so starting off, you got that kind of like black border. This is kind of reminiscent of your Lego Star Wars, your display sets, like the trash compactor and Dagobah's hut and Yoda's hut and all that. So, you know, kind of following that similar kind of theme. This is more display oriented, of course. Then you have a ton of pieces, which definitely drives the part count up. You have these 1x2 smoky gray transparent 1x2 smooth tiles, which kind of make up that the sea.
Smoky.
I think it's called that, or maybe it's pearl gray. It's something.
Reminds me of the decor in my dentist's office, but.
Anyway, so
which
going.
I like.
We have the USS Monitor versus the CSS Virginia, March 8th, 1862, Battle
AKA Merrimack.
Yes, Battle of Hampton Road. So that's a nice little printed tile telling you, hey, this is what it is. And so that's very cool to see. And then the two ships designs are honestly genius. They do the snot technique, which is studs not on top. And that basically allows it to, you know, like you're building, I think people know what that is, but basically instead of building up, you're building sideways. That's all it means. And then they cover it up with the things, with the metal, the dark bluish gray stuff to represent the metal. And then you also got these beautiful cannons on both, which when I first built it I was like, well, it could have been stuck out, but I understand why they couldn't do that because you're already working with such a small thing. I think the cannons look really cool, and so that was very exciting that they got to put that in there, a very nice detail. And then the monitor, honestly, it's a pretty simple build. Again, snuds not on top technique. But, you know, there's nothing really hugely to say about that one, but the turret does rotate like the real thing in real life, and you had those two cannons. I mean, so, yeah, it's very historically accurate. It's a very good build, but there's just one kind of small issue. $95 is a bit much, a bit of an ask on this, in my opinion. So yes, this is a store exclusive. You can only get this in the Chantilly Capital store, Brickmania store. We checked online. There is no, I don't believe they've ever sold it online. They might at some point, but I honestly don't know if they will. Maybe they will in a couple of years. I don't know.
But Chantilly does have them in stock. We just called and talked to our man Matt, and they're there.
They are there.
And they got a sale going on, which will probably be off by the time you see this, but you want one, pick it up.
Yeah, I think he said that there's a 15% off discount, or maybe it's just 10%. But yeah, so you can only get this in the stores. It's a store exclusive. As far as packaging goes, I feel like it's very cool. I like the way they're doing the different packaging, but I would have liked to see maybe an exclusive, like a band across the top saying like Virginia store exclusive or Capital store exclusive, something like that, just to kind of really differentiate this from everything else. But you know, that's all right. And also the flags are printed as well, which is very nice to see in my opinion. So,
I would like to have seen a piece of metal from the monitor, which they I think it was 2003. They went to the bottom of the ocean and they brought back pieces of the monitor. So that'd be
fun
tight.
Fact for you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So maybe they could have. Yeah, Brickmania just include this little small metal thing. It would probably cost you hundreds of dollars, but you keep the price the same.
You're looking at a guy that paid a premium dollar for getting a knife built out of what was the battleship? The Tripits. Yeah, Boker Knives was selling knives a while back that was made out of steel from the German battleship Tripits, which sunk to the bottom of the ocean. So
yeah, and that was you. You bought that. Yeah. Wow. Anyway, so again, final thoughts. I think it's beautifully done the way it is. The building techniques are nice. It looks stellar. I mean, it's an awesome display piece just to put up on your shelf and go, dang, that looks cool, you know? Mm-hmm. But again, $95. Yikes, it seems a bit much. You do get a lot of printed elements. Well, not a lot, but you get quite a few. And so, yeah, I mean, yeah, 220 Lego elements. So, and again, a lot of those pieces go into the water.
It's a very, very unique piece, and I think Andreas, buddy, You knocked it out of the park with this. I'm just saying.
It's Andrea. I think.
It's a very distinctive model.
It is
It's
Andrea.
really
right?
well thought out. And Andrea, you knocked it out of the ballpark. This is. Start over again. It's a very distinctive model. It's something no one else on your block is going to have. It was exquisitely put together, and Andrea, you knocked it out of the ballpark on this one, buddy. I'm just saying. It's outstanding.
Yes, Andrea. Very well designed. I really like it. And yeah, if you can afford it, go pick it up. Thank you guys for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe, share, turn on all notifications. Please share the video. And just please leave a comment. See how you like it. If you're going to pick it up. If you think the price is worth it. If you think it's cool, which it is. But, you know, all that good stuff. Leave your opinions down below. And we will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.
The monitor could only fire a round once every 7 or 8 minutes. So basically when I went, that's pretty much all the rounds the monitor fired during the battle. I exaggerate a little bit for comedic intent.